So you're telling me about this show, right? Hot Seat. It was like a huge deal back in the day. This was the 80s, folks, and it was all about politics, but with a side of comedy, like when I was on those late night shows. But they didn't know how to handle me. Not like Wally George, let me tell you. Wally George, he was a smart guy and a conservative like nobody else. He had this fantastic setup, right? Red, white, and blue necktie, like he's me from the future back then. And that comb over, oh boy, it was something. Behind him, a flag of the United States, the biggest and the best, and a space shuttle, because nobody did it better than us, right? And that caption, USA is you won. That's what we're talking about. That's what I've been saying all along. When I first laid eyes on this guy, I thought, wow, this guy's got something. I was totally obsessed with that show, believe me. But it was Rudy Krause that was the real enigma. This guy, Krause, comes on, and he's got these wild JFK conspiracy theories. Claims he's got the dirt on George H.W. Bush being involved. Can you imagine? I mean, nobody's ever heard anything like that, right? But let me tell you, Krause says he's got a photo of a young George H.W., like right at the scene. But wait, there's one little problem. George H.W. wasn't even in Dallas that day. Grassy Knolls School Book Depository? Who knows? But you know what? It didn't matter. It didn't matter because he told it with such passion, such conviction. And let me tell you, some folks, they ate it up. They wanted to believe it. It was like, nobody else has this. And it got me thinking, right? Sometimes in politics, it's not just about the facts. It's about the story you sell to the people. You got to keep them guessing, keep them hooked. He's still around making noise everywhere, folks. You know what? I'll tell you something about Rudy Krause because he's everywhere, talking about everything. And let me tell you, I can't stand Newsom, not one bit. How do I know what's going on in that guy's head with all his sneaky plans? Because of Rudy Krause, that's how. Anyway, Rudy, he is on his speaking tour, right? Let me tell you, folks, he starts to talk about the World Economic Forum, about Newsom. They're the ones pushing all this negative, detrimental stuff. They want to depopulate the world. Can you believe it? From 9 billion to 1 billion by 2030. That's a big difference, folks. That's like a color revolution right here in the good old USA, and it's all happening through our education system. It's a mess. So, Rudy, right? But let me tell you, I've watched Rudy. I've learned from his candidacy, okay? It's incredible, the things you can learn. Even the ideas that seem so out there, so unconventional, they can still have a place in the political arena. And let me tell you, he's got a fantastic, really fantastic idea here. He picks a Dalmatian, Mr. Pinto, as his running mate in the big, beautiful presidential race. Now, that's something you don't see every day, folks. Believe me, nobody else would have thought of this. It's huge, it's incredible, it's a tremendous statement about unity and not being racist or discriminating. Can you imagine? A dog, a Dalmatian, black and white together, and it's all about harmony. That's what America needs, folks. And let me tell you, Mr. Pinto, that dog, it's incredible. So well-behaved, so lovable, you wouldn't believe it. I've seen a lot of dogs in my day, but nobody like Mr. Pinto. So, people are always talking about how I learned from Pat Buchanan, right? And they mix it up with David Duke, like, I don't know, Buchanan Duke, or maybe Pat David Duke, or even Duke Buchanan. Can you believe it? They just don't get it. But let me tell you, folks, it's not true. Not true. The real influencers on my style, my friends, were Rudy Krause and Wally George. Tremendous guys. So Rudy, he looked like a total clown, okay? But let me tell you, behind that goofy exterior, the guy had a mind sharper than the sharpest tack you've ever seen. His wit, it was faster than lightning, folks. But Wally, oh boy, Wally was something else. He looked like $1 million, no question. Incredible sharpness, sophistication all over the place, like nobody had ever seen. The one and only Wally George. This man had a flair, a conservative flair, and let me tell you, he didn't back down from anybody. People would come on, they'd argue, they'd fight, but Wally, he was the king. He had this look, with the platinum hair all slicked back, those sharp suits, and those patriotic ties. He looked like he was ready to take on the world. I used to watch Wally's show, and I'd say to myself, this guy's got it. He's got the guts to tell it like it is. So, folks, let me tell you something. I've always had this tremendous desire to be like Wally George, right? Can you imagine? This guy was a real enigma, a real character. And I've looked up to him, huge fan, believe me. I've wanted to talk just like him, have his fantastic way with words. That's the kind of thing that gets you noticed, right? And not just talk like him, but more important, look like him too. The hair, the suits, the whole package. It's like nobody else had that kind of presence on TV. And look at me now, right? His show, it was like nothing else on TV. A lot of people watched it because it was huge. He had this style, right? It was like combat TV, like wrestling, but with politics. Can you imagine that? And you know who noticed? Well, that's right, I did. It was me. Donald Trump. I saw that this Wally George, he was ahead of the game. He had this kayfabe thing going on where he'd mixed the drama of wrestling with real hard-hitting political talk. It was like reality TV before reality TV was even a thing. So you've got these guys like Pat Buchanan, right? And David Duke. They say David Icke's got some ideas, but let me tell you, folks, the Trill, can you believe that one? They throw everything at you like it's a surprise party in your face, like a frog you didn't see coming. And Buchanan, oh Buchanan, all these Annans, QAnon, right? QAnon with General Michael Flynn, General Lee Atwater. And the cars, like in Charlottesville, they say it was a Dodge Charger, but it was a Challenger. If someone says Charger, you know what that is? Fake news, like Travis the Chimp was driving it. But just to make sure, you've got to check with MSNBC Media, with Pat Buchanan. I knew Pat Buchanan. I knew him well. A fantastic guy, really fantastic. And David Duke, he's going around calling himself a wizard. A wizard. Can you imagine that? I'm telling you, folks, David Duke, he's a wizard, an actual wizard. And let's not forget Kash Patel, the cross-eyed guy. He's supposed to be a wizard, too. It's unbelievable. Nobody ever thought of him that way before. Kash, he wrote a whole thing, like a book, about how he's a wizard. Can you imagine? Millions and millions of people reading about this? Kash Patel and David Duke? They're a magical duo. I'm telling you. Imagine this. You've got Kash with his eyes all over the place, and people are saying it's all part of the act, like he's hiding his wizardry. It's incredible. Can you believe Kash wrote a whole story about being a wizard? That's what they're saying. And frankly, it's a little weird. But hey, to each his own, right? Still is weird playing wizard just like David Duke does. Just goes to show you how people can be enigmas and you think you know them and then boom, they go and do something like this. So we've got these two wizards, David and Kash, and nobody knew it. So here's the deal. These guys are out there calling themselves wizards, and we're all just sitting here trying to figure out if it's true or not. But let me tell you, I think it's a hoax. It's like fake news, but with wands and spells. And you know what happened, folks, in around 88, right? There was this guy, Geraldo Rivera, a man with a big mustache like Chil Montaigne, but he had this show, the Geraldo Rivera Show. Huge deal back then, right? Not as huge compared to Wally George, let's face it. Geraldo was like a baby in the woods. But what he didn't understand was you got to stay in your kayfabe. Nobody breaks kayfabe. And Geraldo, he didn't get that. And let me tell you, he interviewed a wrestler. What do you think? Guess what? He thought things were going good, right? But then, boom, there he went, punched him right in the mustache. Yes, that's how you learn politics. Never break the kayfabe. We learned it the hard way. And let me tell you, he was too stupid, not sharp enough for the big leagues of politics. Thought he could break the kayfabe, right? Excuse me, but that's not how it works. You don't just waltz in and expect to understand the game. You've got to be a player, know the players, and play the game right. If Wally George was here right now, would he call me out, folks? Would he say, hey, you stole my looks, my style? Because, folks, let's be honest, I took a lot from him, okay? But mostly his kayfabe way of doing politics. It's like watching a wrestling match, you know? And I've learned from the best.